Hi and welcome to another story, and today we have part 6 of Ned and the Chocolate Cheats by Mark Jarvis, continuing from chapter 13, The View from Here. It felt very warm, and at last, in the hotel room, we could relax for a moment and sit and stop travelling, enjoying the cool air conditioning. "Ah well," Jeff said, "we've got a few hours until sunset, so we'd better get in contact with Gizmo and find out what we're up against." "If you video call her now," I asked, "what time will it be in England?" "Good point, Ned," Jeff replied. "Let's find out first." He logged into the hotel's Wi-Fi, using the code that the cat on the reception desk had given us. He asked the phone's built-in voice-activated software to answer the question. "What time is it in the UK when it's 9 o'clock in the morning in Hong Kong?" The phone didn't really understand the question. "Just type it into the search engine instead," I suggested. "All right, the answer is that it is 1 in the morning in the UK. It's the middle of the night," Jeff said forlornly. "That's all right then," I said, feeling pleased. "Don't forget, Gizmo is a cat. Cats are always out doing things at night. I think they're pretty nocturnal, although Gizmo is quite lazy. I don't think she'll be out prowling around the streets. Give her a call." "Of course, I'll do it now then, and I'll send her the pictures I've taken. Let's see if she can find out who they are. If not, then I'm sure the man behind the newspaper will know." "Hey dudes," answered Gizmo when Jeff called. You could see from her surroundings that she was in the same place that she was when we last talked to her. She was in her front room next to the fire, although this time it was dark, as her person had gone to bed. Cats don't really need the light on to see in the dark. I could, however, see the blue glow of a television coming from the far corner of the room, and wondered what Gizmo could be watching at that time of night. "The dude behind the newspaper from MI5 told me that you had landed safely. I guess you saw the news. You were right about the organised crime thing. How did those dudes pull that one off?" "It was quite an amazing crime," I agreed. "Our news is that, well, while we were on the plane, we came across the criminals who kidnapped us and who are having the meeting in Hong Kong. It's the meeting that we need to listen in on. But hey, we've taken photos of them and we can send the pictures to you and the man behind the newspaper. What we need you to know now, though, is to find the answer to these questions. They are going to have the meeting in the highest bar in the world when the sun goes down. So where is this and when is this?" "No worries, dudes. I'll find these things out straight away and get right back to you. By the way, how's the hotel room? I had to book it in a hurry and did not have much time to check it if it was a cool one." "It's just fine, thanks. We might only be sleeping in it for the night. I'm going to send these photos off now. Something tells me that MI5 will be awake too. What are you watching on the TV, by the way?" Hey, dude, it's just something that I like to do now and then, you know." She looked away from the camera. I'd never seen Gizmo look embarrassed before. "It's just KVC," she went on. "You know, dude, cat value convenience. The cat shopping channel. I just love ordering new stuff. It's really cool. I've ordered a great new scratching post. It's got these way cool dangly things on." "Gizmo," I exclaimed, "how many scratching posts do you need? You have 11 different ones already. Your person told Jeff that most of them aren't even taken out their wrapping." "Dude," replied Gizmo, "you just can't have enough scratching posts, you know. You never know when you might get the urge to dig those claws into something." I left Gizmo to her research and turned my attention back to our current situation. Jeff got the spy phone out, the one that the man behind the newspaper had given him. "I used this one to take the photographs," he said. "It's got a really good camera." We looked at the photos of the two criminals. They were very clear. It showed the Italian greyhound and Boris, his big, hairy companion, fast asleep in their seats. "I'll ask the question. Who are these two? And is there anything we should know? And text that with the photos," Jeff said. He pressed the send button. We explored the hotel room whilst we waited and looked at the amazing view out of the window. I didn't realise quite how high up we were. The windows went from floor to ceiling and around the corner. It gave us views of all the other impressively tall buildings, built very close together. By standing next to the window and looking as far as I could around the corner, I could see the glistening blue water of Hong Kong harbour. There were a few boats making their way slowly up and down the waterway. Jeff made himself a coffee from the machine in the little kitchen. "Is there any—" I started to say. "Yes, I've made you a flat bright too," he laughed. "I'll put it over here for you." "Oh, thanks," I said. "Oh, I can hear a buzzing. Is that from one of your phones that's on silent?" "Yes, it is, you're right," he replied, grabbing the spy frame from the tabletop. "It's from the man behind the newspaper, or at least from MI5. It's a text that says, 'Oh dear, that doesn't sound good.' It says, 'Well done for making contact with the targets. One is Boris Chunky Chugworth, a well-known criminal and wanted London thug. The other, the Italian greyhound, is Carlos Fandango, also wanted by Interpol, the international police. Both dogs are extremely dangerous and should not be approached. Be very careful.'" "Oh, well, that's going to be tricky," I said. "We're supposed to be following them." "Yes, but where?" wondered Jeff. "I hope Gizmo gets back to us soon. We've got to be at that meeting today. It's our only chance to find out who's behind all this." I went back to looking out of the window. Jeff made himself another coffee and then sat down again, tapping his foot as he waited. I used the indoor dog toilet facilities. Jeff's own phone rang with a sound that announced a video call. I jumped into the seat next to him as he held his phone up so that I could see Gizmo. She was still there in front of the fire. "Yo dudes, here we go. This is what you want to know," she chanted in a rap as she spoke. Gizmo peered at the laptop. "The highest bar in the world is called Ozone. It's the top of the 5th highest building in the world, which is the Ritz-Carlton building, just across the harbour from you in Kowloon. The sun sets tonight at 6:30, so if I were you, I would start making your way down there now." "Okay, good work, Gizmo," I said. "How do we get there?" "Dude, you are now on Hong Kong Island, so if you get the Poodle maps up on your phone, you can make your way down to Victoria Harbour. Get the Star Ferry across to the Kowloon side. Once you are there, just get a taxi. You dudes want to be there in plenty of time so that you can get a look around the bar and look at the amazing view. It's 118 floors up. You'll need to find a good place to sit." "That's very sensible. We don't want to be seen," Jeff agreed. "Is it going to be time for disguises?" I suggested. "That's just the sort of occasion that they might come in useful for." "Okay, dudes, do what you need to do to stay safe. Good luck," said Gizmo, and closed the connection. I jumped down from the chair and looked at my reflection in the hotel room mirror, imagining myself a different colour and with a large moustache. Mused Jeff, looking at me and stroking his chin in thought. "Yes, I thought this might be the time for you to become Ned Mondo. Here's the stuff that you need. Give me a shout if you want help applying your hair dye. I'm going to try out these MI5 contact lenses." A few minutes later, we had become our new selves, so to speak. "John Smith," I remarked, looking at my squinting and blinking person. He was getting used to wearing his contact lenses instead of his glasses. His stick-on bushy moustache kept on wiggling from side to side as he screwed his face up. "You're going to have to try to relax when you wear your disguise," I said. "You'll draw attention to yourself with all those weird faces you're making. It's all right for you, Ned Mondo, with your cool name and your dashing moustache. Even your golden hair colour makes you look suave and interesting." "I don't know about that," I replied, "but I very much doubt that we would be recognised now. Let's just go, and try to remember that there are lots of people relying on us to solve this mystery." We did not have much else to get ready because we hadn't really unpacked. Jeff clipped on my lead on, and it didn't take us long to be out of the hotel and start making our way down to the harbour, following the map on the phone. The streets were busy with people and traffic. Everyone was very friendly, and if we took a wrong turn, we just asked a dog, cat or human. We could make ourselves understood by using signs and pointing, so we were quickly put on the right track again. It was very hot, and I was glad that Jeff had brought a bottle of water with him. When we got to the busy pier beside the harbour, we both paused to have another drink. Jeff poured me some into our fold-up travel water bowl. With our tickets, we only needed to wait a few minutes before the old green and white ferry chugged its way to the pier. As we got on board, we heard 2 English tourists saying that there had been a ferry here since 1888. Gizmo could have told us other ways to get to Kowloon, through tunnels or even bridges, but this way gave us some great views of Hong Kong. The amazing tall buildings along the waterside, with a backdrop of mountains and blue sky, was certainly very impressive. It was reassuring to smell salty sea air again. Once disembarked, we had no problem in quickly getting a taxi from the taxi rank. I climbed in and only had to say Ritz-Carlton to the driver for us to be once again joining the busy, beeping traffic. I hopped down onto the pavement when the driver stopped. I had a sniff of an often used wee spot and added to it myself. Jeff paid the driver and joined me at the bottom of the front steps. We looked around nervously, both at the impressive and grand front of the tall building, and up and down the pavement, in case the criminals were already here. This whole thing, which had seemed a bit of an exciting adventure a few hours ago, all now seemed very real and dangerous. "Here we go," said Jeff. I had one final shake and followed him closely as we went up the steps into the luxuriously decorated reception area. We didn't speak to each other, but walked quickly across the shiny marble floor, following the signs to the lifts. Inside there was a big mirror, in which we saw our reflections. As the doors closed behind us, Jeff stared up at the amazing choice of floors on lift buttons. There was a similar set of animal nose buttons nearer to the floor, so we could reach. "Which one?" he asked, turning his head to look down at me. "The highest one, of course," I answered. "But Gizmo said it was on the 118th floor. These buttons don't go that high." "Just choose the highest number, and we'll see what to do after that," I suggested. As he pressed the button, we started to feel the lift moving very smoothly, but in a way that felt we were moving up very fast. "What if it stops and criminals get into our lift?" I asked. "Then we're doomed," he answered darkly. My person looked at me and smiled a little nervously. "Don't worry," he said. "Let's just hope our luck holds out." After what seemed like no time at all, the lift stopped, and the doors opened onto another reception area. I saw a smart-looking Boston Terrier talking in a quite haughty tone to a member of the hotel staff. You could tell by the staff's body language that the Boston Terrier was a very important visitor. I looked around for a sign to give us a clue to where we could go next. Across the reception area were directions for visitors to other things that could be found on this floor. There were beauty salons and very expensive jewellery shops, but at the very end of the list was a smaller plaque saying, "Ozone, up." "Over here," I said, leading the way into the lift. We got in and once again pressed the highest number button. The lift was smaller and moving faster. I really felt like I was going up at speed. There was a funny feeling in my tummy, the sort of feeling you get when you go quickly over a humpback bridge in a car. Then we stopped. The door opened and we were there. This was the place where we would find out the answers to all our questions. And that is where we will leave part 6 of Ned and the Chocolate Cheats by Mark Jarvis. I will be back soon with part 7 of this fantastic story very soon. And lots more videos coming your way, lots more stories. If you'd like to subscribe or hit a like, that's really appreciated, guys. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.